How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I am getting started on something that I've been meaning to do for a while, but I've just been putting aside, and that is doing some rust prevention on the Sequoia. So as some of you who have Toyotas know, these older trucks have lots of problems with the frame rusting out. It's not as big of a problem on kind of the West Coast, but especially back east, you'll see some really destroyed frames. I've been wanting to do this for a while, just haven't taken the time to do it, and gonna get started on it today. I don't have the actual product that I'll be using to coat the frame yet. It's called fluid film. That should be coming in the next day or two, but I do want to get started on this project while I have some time. I'm thinking today I'll start with using a wire brush throughout the entire frame, just getting some of that surface rust off. Just got an attachment on the drill, so I plan to use this, go throughout the entire frame, just get that surface rust off, clean the frame, and hopefully that will be it for today. The frame on my Sequoia is really not too bad. This car was in California for all of its life before I got it and moved it up to Oregon. There is still just a tiny bit of surface rust, and again, this is just a preventative thing. I don't think it's required by any means, but just something to help ensure that the frame is going to last. So even though the frame on my Sequoia isn't super rusty, I'm still going to use a wire brush to clean it up, just get any of the rust that is there off. I figure I'll just start from the front and work my way back, and yeah, hopefully it doesn't take too long. So I've been working my way along the bottom of the frame with the wire brush. It is very hot today, and it is a lot harder than I thought just to hold that brush there. It takes a lot of force. But just slowly making my way from the front to the back. I think I'm gonna take just like this smaller wire brush just to get to some of the tighter areas where I can't reach with the drill. Yeah, just gonna continue working away here. I will note too, I am wearing goggles and just like a mask. It is very dusty wire brushing the frame. There's some rust that's kind of like flying off too, so don't want to get any of that in my eyes or breathe it in, so just wearing this stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good about the frame on this front side here. Went through with the wire brush along the whole bottom of the frame, and I think I'm going to throw the front wheel back on and then kind of work towards the back. This is how the frame looks though. Just been working on the back of the frame here. It's honestly not too rusty. I think it's more just dirty. This is what it looks like now. Just took the wire brush to it. Like I said, like the frame doesn't seem like it's terrible. There's some spots along the bottom that seem to have some more rust that I'm trying to get off the best I can. I'm gonna move on to the rear axle now. I think out of the frame and everything on the underside of the car, that rear axle is definitely the area with the most rust. So I'm gonna spend some time working on that now, and hopefully I can get it cleaned up. So I've been going at it with the wire brush for a couple hours at least now. I pretty much got the frame on the driver's side and the passenger side, and then I also spent a bunch of time on the rear axle just because that had a lot of rust on it. I definitely couldn't get all of the rust off, but I feel like it at least looks better, and will be ready for me to kind of do a wash and degrease and kind of final cleaning before I start coating. So I'm gonna take a little break now. Might go back at it again tonight and just see if there's any last areas just to clean up, and then probably tomorrow or later this week I'll bring out all of the car wash stuff, some degreaser, and start cleaning the frame. Alright, so it is day 2 now. Yesterday kind of just finished up with taking a wire brush to the entire underside of the frame, just trying to get off any of the surface rust that I could. Today I'm moving on to kind of the second step in prepping the frame for fluid film, and that's gonna be completely like washing the underside of the frame. I'm gonna take like just a couple brushes with some soap and water and just really try and clean it off. So I'm just gonna start with that. We'll see how long that takes, but I just wanna get the frame super clean so that when I start applying the fluid film, the frame is gonna be all set up and it's gonna look good. So let's go ahead and jump into that now. Alright, so I just finished washing most of the frame. I pretty much just sprayed it down with the hose, then took some soap and water and just gave it a nice scrub with a brush. Just again, like, just trying to get as much of that like dirt and dust that might be on there off before I start coating it. I gotta wait now for everything to dry out since it's super wet underneath the truck. And then I might go and just do a little bit more cleaning on the bottom side. But after I do finish up with this cleaning, that's pretty much it for the prep process. And then the next step will be just moving on to the fluid film. So I'm gonna take a little break here, let everything dry off, and I'll come back at it in a little bit when everything's dry, and we'll get started on the application process. I think I'm gonna work from the back towards the front, so we'll start with this side here. I am gonna take the air compressor and just go around and spray everything down. In case there is still anything that's wet from when I washed it, just make sure it's all dry before I go ahead and start spraying on the fluid film. So I'll start with that now, and then we'll get painting. Alright, so I'm going to try and open up this fluid film and take a look. Alright. So somehow we have to get this fluid film into this container. Thankfully on this spray gun it has pretty wide opening, but I'm not sure how easily this is gonna pour. I'm gonna start with a paint stir stick and just see kind of how thick this fluid film is right now. Well, it's actually not thick at all. I did have it sitting outside in the sun, so that might have helped. I wonder if I should try and scoop it. I do have the fluid film in black too. I like how clean of a look it makes on the frame. When the frame's just all dark, especially with the Sequoia being black too, I think it'll look pretty good. Alright, so I just got some of the fluid film in this container here. I'll screw this back onto the air gun. I didn't see anything online for a specific PSI to spray this at. Lots of people said they kind of varied, and I think it'll be a bit of an experiment here, but I'm going to start at 60, I think. I saw that number a couple times, so I'll give that a shot. I'm definitely going to start by spraying it here on the tarp, just seeing how it comes out. We'll turn the air compressor on, let it pressurize a bit, and then we'll get started doing a test with this thing. So I just turned it to 60 PSI. It definitely sprays it pretty quickly. I think I'm going to start with somewhere easy on the frame before trying to go underneath and work on some of the harder places, just to get familiar with how it sprays and stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I sprayed a little bit on. It definitely like has some of that orange peel or texture that you get. So I'm going to experiment with the pressure a little bit before I continue to spray the rest of the truck. Alright, so just an update. Pretty much done with the whole backside of the fluid film, the whole frame, the rear axle, just some of the other metal pieces. They're all pretty much coated. I did end up coating the fender liners too. It just looks cooler with them kind of being all dark black to match the frame there, so did that as well. The one thing I'm not sure about is the drive shaft. I'm not sure if that can be coated or not, so I'm just going to leave it dry right now. But if you are familiar with this, definitely drop a comment below. Please let me know if that's something that you can coat with fluid film. I've read a couple different things online. Some people say it's balanced specifically and the weight of the fluid film can throw it off. I'm not sure. Other people say you can spray away and it doesn't really matter, so definitely drop a comment below if you're familiar with that. Let me know. I'm just curious. Like I said, pretty much done with the back. I'll show you guys what that is looking like now. I'm going to move forward to the front. There's not a ton on the front. I'm going to do the front skid plate just to make that look cool too. Do the front fenders. But yeah, we're getting pretty close now. Having this air gun is really helpful. It allows you to spray it on really quickly, get to a lot of different spaces. So yeah, definitely moving along and hoping to get this wrapped up in the next 1 to 2 hours.
Hear the commotion, and that's okay, 'cause we're in motion. I can feel the sway. There's nothing here, my friend. Oh no, it's the natural rattle. is shaking, you thunder roar. Wouldn't worry, it's just a storm. I just let my body pause to the natural rattle. So unwind the dawn, unravel. We can't help but be a little.
Alright guys, so I think I'm pretty much done here. I just finished up the front parts of the frame. There aren't a ton up there, but just got those sprayed down. I also sprayed the fender liners in the front. Again, just like I did in the back. I just think it looks really cool. I don't think it hurts anything. It's just plastic and just helps kind of complete that look of like being a lot cleaner and not as dirty and stuff. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like in the front. And yeah, overall went pretty smooth.
Hear the rocket all day and night. The world is noisy, and that's alright. The sound is just a beat.
Alright guys, so I just finished up. Got everything I wanted to get sprayed down, and overall pretty happy with how it turned out. And again, I'm just not sure if this is just the fluid film product or something I was doing, but there definitely is some like texture, or I think like in painting it's called orange peel. It's not like a super flat or smooth texture that came out. So I'm curious if anyone who is more familiar with painting or has used fluid film in the past has any tips for this. Definitely drop a comment, let me know. Just always curious to learn if there's any better ways to do this. Overall went pretty well. I hope this video was helpful to any of you guys. I'd say you could definitely do this in a day. I did it in two, partly because I didn't have the fluid film product, and also I was just kind of going slow and taking my time. But you could definitely do this in a day, or even a couple hours, depending on how quickly you go. If you have any questions, any comments, definitely let me know. Always happy to talk or answer questions on Instagram as well, so feel free to send me a DM. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.